As we begin this February 2023 version of Bumps in Your Flight, we will start with a study by Inside Higher Education that asks students what they see as the greatest barriers to success. For example, about 55% of students indicated that the teacher's style is a significant stumbling block to their learning. Another barrier students identified was the difficulty level in the work that needed to be completed for classes. One might think there is a correlation there. If you don't learn well from an instructor, the concepts will not feel comfortable come exam time. Other hurdles students identify include unclear expectations, conflicts between coursework activities and employment, and mental health challenges. And yet, when it comes to each of these student struggles, there are ways to address your concerns for your education. For example, if you don't understand a concept through the instructor's directions, there are tutors and online resources to help you better understand each concept. There are counselors available in every school to help you better address your mental health, and activity advisors who can help you learn to prioritize your to-do list and manage your time. Hi, I'm Margaret Meek, and this is a reminder that assistance is available for any challenge you face in your education, if you're willing to look for help and ask for assistance. Before we go any further, we need to note that there has been a significant uptick in the number of announced threats against high schools. This is on the heels of the shooting at Michigan State University. Please trust those in your schools teaching the best way to protect yourself, not only physically, but those who support your mental health, should your school face a threat. There are resources available. We can't tell you why individuals believe their desire to upend lives can take precedence over thousands of people's peace. But we know we are tired of hearing about anything happening in our schools that distracts us from education. Take care of yourselves. Fall college freshman enrollment numbers are up over fall 2021. 4.3% more first-year students joined the hallowed halls of academia. Of that enrollment growth, the most significant expansion came in community colleges, growing by 6%. Interestingly, most community college increases were through dual or concurrent enrollment. Enrollment numbers for Latinos, Native Americans, and Asians grew. The number of Black students in college remained relatively unchanged. So now that we have shared the good news, here is the not so good news. Total college enrollment is down compared to enrollment numbers in pre-pandemic years. Keep your eyes on the admission policy for any school you're interested in attending. Colleges are still adjusting to the changing needs and trends within their walls and throughout the admissions world. Using the SAT and ACT results and the status of AP course exams as college-level credits are two of the often adjusted criteria. And numerous attempts to adjust grading in high school have led to grade inflation and difficulty determining if students are truly prepared for college-level coursework. Each college will share its objectives for admissions, pay special attention to what they say. Speaking of qualifications for admissions, there has been a change in the NCAA eligibility requirements for Division I and II athlete registration. The NCAA will no longer require a qualifying SAT or ACT score to participate in college sports. The NCAA waived the testing mandates beginning in 2020 to respond to COVID-related testing issues. The new policy makes that exclusion of scores permanent. Division III athletes are not required to register with the NCAA. All athletes are reminded that any school may set its own qualifications that athletes must meet beyond those of the NCAA to be admitted as a part of their recruitment. Good news! State support for colleges is up 6% in 2023 to $112 billion. It should be noted that this data is not, according to Grapevine, who collected the numbers, adjusted for inflation. So with costs for many goods going up and overall enrollment not growing, colleges must decide on financing their future. But the state supporting the schools is an excellent hedge against inflation for the institutions that receive such. Another financial point you need to consider is that the economic base for many colleges has changed over the past few years. Tuition income was down from 2019 to 2021, with two-year schools taking the brunt of this downturn. Conversely, those schools with large endowment pools have increased their income as investment income rose. Thus, smaller schools whose endowment is smaller and whose enrollment is smaller face difficulties. Those schools with large endowments and large student populations are still working to make sure they are on firm financial footing. For example, Stanford University has announced that next year they are raising the cost of tuition by 7%. For perspective, Stanford reports that 77% of their income is from investments. Only 3% comes from the payment of tuition and fees. It is expected, and we have seen, that many more schools will raise tuition in the coming year. Before you start railing against those schools with large endowments, remember that these schools provide more significant support in scholarships and grants to their students. Learn about the finances of schools to which you apply. So, the FAFSA. The 2022 incoming student class left $3.58 billion of Pell Grants unclaimed. All you have to do is file for the FAFSA. Within the 2022 class, 47% of students did not file their forms. Don't be that person. File your senior year of high school and every year from your freshman to junior years in college. FAFSA-related funding is not clear-cut enough to determine whether funding will be available to you. File your form and see what is offered. You may be surprised. Remember, the FAFSA also applies to two-year and trade or vocational schools. Your high school counselor is more than the person who can make sure you complete your graduation requirements or help you with your college applications. We also know that having a working relationship with your high school counselor helps with identifying funding for college. For example, 87% of students who have met with their counselor file their FAFSA, a much higher rate than those who do not work with their counselor. Further, counselors have information on local scholarships and grants and can provide information on asking for more funding from the college you wish to attend. Meet your counselor early and meet with them often throughout your high school experience. And now for a good news story. Congratulations to Matthew Myslinski, who will attend Harvard University this fall. Matthew is a 17-year-old high school senior at Woodstock Academy in Woodstock, Connecticut. Matthew has cerebral palsy. The motor function challenges of CP make it difficult for Matthew to complete learning functions such as note-taking. And yet, he has succeeded academically to a level worthy of Harvard admission. Matthew's sister Magda said, quote, "It may look like he can't do things as well as others," which sometimes he can't, "but if you really put in the extra work and keep at it, you can do anything in this world," end quote. Matthew will study biology and hopes to become a doctor. That inspiration comes from the physicians at Boston Hospital who have treated Matthew over the years. Congratulations to Magda, Matthew's twin sister, as well. She will be going to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University come fall. Magda has been one of Matthew's biggest cheerleaders. If you found this information useful, hit the like button or subscribe. If you have any questions or specific topics you want us to address in the video, let us know in the comments below.